It just depends. I'm a suburban city boy. So, my family has accent. My dad. If you get around people, it becomes that. And you don't even have. Yeah. It's funny because my whole family, even though there's people that are all from the city pretty much, and they have thick accents. Thank you.
You're welcome to any of our monthlies, anything.
This is historic. Consideration divided by. Air freshener can send you running. So try Febreze One. No aerosol and no heavy perfumes. So you can spray and stay. Febreze One.
Ready for the Big Mac? No, just a small, medium-sized one. How about you?
Fun. Excited.
Who are you wearing? What do we think of it?
I love it. I actually bought it because I love it so much. And I love it.
The ultimate
We're on a great planet. And it's slow but great planet.
Is that gonna work this close? Didn't last time we have to have it back further?
I had it back further so it wasn't in the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah, this will be good. I'm just testing it right now. It's on. I can't find it just by looking, which is weird because it's supposed to be available. Here, let me text it to you.
Yep. Good. Streaming okay?
Hey, Pittman's, how's it going? Good. Pleasant.
Well, our side.
Just really sad about it.
But the whole community stuff.
Alright.
Except you waved your hand. You were over here when I saw him.
Oh, it's about a 20-second delay.
Oh, okay.
In all of Salt Lake City.
out there really pushing the Democrats to come in. But then, I'm hoping
it.
Supposed to tell.
Well, I just unmuted it. So give it a second. Let's make sure it starts streaming the sound. Well, I just unmuted it. There we go. So give it a second. Let's make sure. Okay, so it's working. Let Sarge is gonna mute the sound on the TVs.
That one's still.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I have your attention for just a minute? We have a few things we'd like to talk about. If you would join us, we'd love to have you come up into these seats and we're going to have a little bit of a discussion here. So one of the things that we've done over the past several years, we've had the opportunity to get together here as a group, as Republicans, and we are excited to have each of you come and celebrate all of the hard work that has been done by these good Republican candidates throughout our community. And it's a wonderful opportunity to be here with each and every one of you. I feel pretty good standing here in my boots and jeans and not being on the ballot today. And so those of you who are on the ballot, I want to thank you, because I do know firsthand from personal experience the effort and the difficult nature of running for office. I am grateful that we have good people in our community who are willing to stand up and put their names on the line and go fight for those values that we believe in as Republicans. And so first of all, let us thank each and every one of them, and let's give all of our candidates a big round of applause. We are going to try something just a little bit different today. What we'd like to do is have the Republican candidates that are here with us tonight something to us, especially once their race is called or close to called, kind of like you'd see on the statewide level or on the national level. And so we are going to evolve. Let's take care of first things first. We'd like to ask Senator Alan Christensen if he would come up and give us an invocation. And then, do we have? Flags behind me. Senator Christensen, would you come pray, and then we'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our kind Heavenly Father, we thank Thee so much for this occasion that brings us together, the freedom that we get to enjoy to choose our leaders for ourselves. We thank thee for this privilege. We thank thee for this wonderful country, for this state, and for each other and our presence here tonight, that we can rub shoulders with good friends, people who are like-minded. We ask a blessing upon all of those candidates who are to be elected this day, that win or lose, they can know of our appreciation to them, and that they are part of the wonderful system of freedom that we have here. We ask a blessing upon the food and refreshments that we have tonight that will be good for us. Help us to further our relationships one with another, share our comradeship with each other. Again, we appreciate all of the rich blessings that we get to enjoy here. We say it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Senator. We appreciate that beautiful invocation, and I appreciate the opportunity to recite that Pledge of Allegiance that means so much to us as well. I'm grateful to be a Republican where we can still do those things and be proud of them. On a matter of importance, as I recite the Pledge of Allegiance today, I'm reminded of a friend of mine, a dear friend who is not with us this evening because his life was ended too short as he fought for our nation in Afghanistan. A fellow Republican, one who served our community in many ways, but most recently as the mayor of North Ogden City. He also has been very involved in Republican circles and done so much for our community as we have served together for many years. As I recite the Pledge of Allegiance, I am struck by the reality that there is a price to be paid for freedom. And that price is a very hefty one. It's one that we can never take for granted. I'm so grateful for those who are willing to serve in whatever way they can to keep our republic free. And I'm grateful at this time for a tremendous individual who fought for us and whose life was ended much too shortly, Major Brent Taylor of the Utah National Guard. Will you join me, please, in a moment of silence for Major Taylor? Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we remember and think on his service and those other members of our community who continue to serve us and have served us in the past, we ought to remember that our remembrance ought not be short-sighted, that we ought to continue to do the best that we can to take care of them as they are away from us, and their families if they have been taken. I would like to ask you to please take a minute, if you haven't already. There is a remembrance book that's been passed around. It looks like Lael Gibby has it back here right now. If you haven't had the opportunity to jot down some thoughts and some remembrances of Mayor Taylor, would you please do so? We'll keep that passed around. Hopefully each of you can write something that might be helpful to the family during this difficult time. I think it's interesting that one of Brent's major missions in this particular assignment was to give those members those individuals in Afghanistan the opportunity to vote, and how many of them over the years have taken their life into their own hands just to have that opportunity, knowing that the resistance, the Taliban, did not want that to happen, and that the effort that they made allowed them to do so. So it's interesting that his remains would come back on American soil today, on election day, and that he would be remembered as someone who fought for that precious right for us. In the meantime, my first thought, because I didn't know how else to help, I can't be of much comfort to a grieving widow or to little children that I didn't know as well as I should. But I committed to myself that I would do everything in my power to make sure that those young children did not want for the material necessities of life. And so I encourage you, if you have the desire and the means, to do what you can to help in that situation. There are so many different ways to contribute if you're so inclined. There are several GoFundMe accounts. From my research, they're all legitimate. We're trying to get a few of them put together and merged so that there's no confusion, but any of those would be acceptable. There is also a America First account under Mayor Taylor's name that you could contribute to. And Linda, I think there was supposed to be something going around today. Did that?
Student make it, he stuck out at the Roy Library with the elections.
Okay.
So he was bringing something. So just
Perfect.
do the GoFundMe account.
Okay, so, you know, there's really no better time than the president. We all have our phones right now. If you're so inclined to pull it out, look for the GoFundMe account and make a contribution if you possibly can. Now with that, I wanted to take just another second before we go too far and let Phil Swanson come up. I've lost where he went in the room. I know he's here. There he is, right in the back. Phil has been a city councilman in North Ogden and served with Mayor Taylor and has been very close with Mayor Taylor and his family, and has been really running point. I think he's had a full-time job this last week, just trying to help with logistics and make everything work appropriately. Phil, would you come up and brief us on any last-minute things that have happened over the last couple of days, and maybe share just a few thoughts before we move on in the program? Thank you.
As you may have seen in the news, Mayor Taylor's body was returned to U.S. soil this morning, early morning, about 4 a.m. East Coast time. Mayor Taylor, the Department of Defense will be hanging on to him for probably the next week to a week and a half. It'll be middle of next week before he's returned to Utah. So the funeral services will be held after that time, and there'll be announcements coming. We don't know exactly why the DOD wants to hang on to him for that long, but they're calling the shots right at this point. The family is doing well. There's been a tremendous outpouring of support financially and love and every way that you can possibly imagine. Everything has been offered from yard services to house cleaning to groceries to college scholarship funds for the kids, missions paid for the kids when they choose to go. It's all is being handled exceptionally well for Mayor Taylor's family. As Kerry was speaking, and I know we're a Republican gathering here, and Brent was certainly registered as a Republican, but before he was a Republican, he was an American. And Brent loved the democratic process. He loved democracy. He loved the opportunity to vote. He loved his Democratic friends, as much as he did his Republican friends. And in today's ranker, I think we would serve Brent well to bring down the vitriol, to bring down the anger. And remember that, as Brent mentioned in one of his final Facebook posts, that there's much more that unites us than divides us. And we need to focus on that which unites more than that which divides. And I don't think there's any other greater way to honor Brent and the ultimate sacrifice that he made than to tear down those walls of division that are between us. Dr. Grant Protzman in North Ogden has written probably the greatest tribute to Brent that has been written and posted on Facebook, and I've read through thousands of them. So this is what Dr. Protzman said, quote, "Our family's heart goes out to Mayor Taylor's family. What an outstanding and exemplary legacy he has left. Very few can say they left a total community better than they found it. Mayor Taylor was such a man." And then here are the great qualities of Mayor Taylor. Where there was division, he sought unity. Where there was conflict, he sought compromise. Where there was ill will, he sought peace. Where there were problems, he sought solutions. Where there was misunderstanding, he sought clarity and logic. His positive impact goes well beyond his family, his faith, his community and state. It extends to his service to our nation and to those he assisted internationally. He leaves a void that will not be easily filled. As a community, we need to show our love and share our prayers to buoy up his family. Let us all continue to provide the kind of service Mayor Taylor so exemplified. And I think, again, that's the most fitting tribute that we can give to Mayor Taylor and to all those men and women who have sacrificed their lives over the decades for the cause of freedom throughout the world. Let us provide the kind of service that Mayor Taylor and they so exemplified. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. I just want to share a quick experience that I had with Mayor Taylor. You know, we weren't always really close friends. In fact, I will admit that there was a time when we really locked horns over a little library project. And we duked it out a little bit in a political way. We even got to a point where, in my opinion, a few lines were crossed. I said some things I shouldn't have said. He probably did too, but I felt like I was out of line. I did something that my wife says I don't do enough of, and that was admit that I was wrong. And at least in the way I behaved. And I went to Mayor Taylor and I apologized. And it was tough because it took me a while to come to that conclusion. But at that point, a very important character trait came out in him. Because I've done that before and been slapped upside the face. And he looked at me. Took him a minute to just kind of make sure he heard what he thought he heard. And then he said, "Okay, I'm going to trust you that your apology is sincere, and we're going to go forward." And it was almost like a light switch went off. It was fast friends from that point on. In fact, to the point where when it came time for me to go through a major time of crisis and trial in my life, there were very few who stood by me as vigorously as this person that just a few months earlier I'd locked horns with in a pretty major way. What a character. Anyway, I'm grateful. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a moment of silence. I think he deserves a standing ovation. Let's give him a hand. Okay, thank you. All right, we don't see any county results up yet, but we are very excited about some of the things that we're seeing on a national level. We're having some good results on a national level, and as Republicans, we're excited about that. But here on a local level, we do have a few people that we'd like to hear from before they leave, even though the results haven't been called yet. Representative Perry for one, and Representative Schultz for another. Representative Perry is good enough to be here with us tonight, even though he is a proud, brand new grandpa. And I know we don't look old enough to be grandpas, Representative. It's great, it's a good job, isn't it? It's a good job. So let's turn the time over to Representative Perry. Representative Perry represents District 29. He's my representative. He represents the town of West Weaver and a few other little towns across the west side. Representative, come on up and give us a piece of your mind.
Well, I will. I want to thank everybody for being here, and like I said, I know that the numbers haven't come in yet, but I think where we're moving, and I think where the Republican Party and the people in Weaver County are moving, I think that we'll have to say a good night here in Weaver County. I know, and I posted this on my Facebook page last night, but no matter what, I won last night. The best gift I could have ever gotten is a brand new grandchild. It was a little early. We were expecting her for Thanksgiving. But, you know, she was anxious to get here. I don't think she's quite old enough to vote yet, but she'll make it. So in 18 years from now, she'll be ready to vote. So we teased her about the fact, you know, I teased my daughter about the fact that because of some of the things that we have in our laws here in the state of Utah now, she would actually, as long as the election occurs, one day after her birthday, she'll be able to vote on her 18th birthday here in the state of Utah. Even if she can't vote in the primary, she can still vote in the general election. But we've set it up for our youth because we feel it's that important to get out and do that voting. And I want to echo the things that we've talked about tonight with Mayor Taylor. That was a major gut check for me. For those who don't know, like I said, I love serving in the legislature. That service is a great opportunity, but I serve in another capacity in the other part of my life in law enforcement. And the day that Major Taylor was killed, we laid to rest a police officer in Brigham City who died in the line of duty as well. And so that day when I got home, just as I left the cemetery, I was notified of Major Taylor's death. And I thought, you know, what a gut check for us here in the state of Utah to lose these great men, but knowing that the example that they've set for all of us. So I appreciate it. And like I said, I have the trust that if and when, I think that no matter what happens, like I said, I won because I have the greatest granddaughter in the whole wide world. I know other grandpas will disagree with me, but I will just tell you that for me, she is the greatest grandchild in the whole wide world, and I will be probably posting more pictures of her because this is the coolest thing in the world to me is to see her and to see her growing up at this point. I'm grateful that she's born here today in this time, and she'll be able to see many of the amazing things. And I'm going to share with her the story of Brent Taylor because as she grows up, she needs to know about those kind of heroes in our lives and the people that have served us and made it possible for us to have the freedoms that we have here in our country. And if and when the polls come in, I trust Kerry Gibson with my life, and I trust that he'll be able to say whatever nice things he wants to say at that point. But at this point, I've done the laundry. I had to get all the things ready to go for this baby because, like I said, she came 3 weeks early. So Grandpa's heading back to make sure she has some clothes to come home in tomorrow. So with that, thank you all for being here, and take care.
Thank you, Representative. That's a very important job. I appreciate you being here on this important night. Okay, we do have one race that's been called statewide, and that is the U.S. Senate race, with Governor Romney being the projected winner over Jenny Wilson. Right now it's, what's that? Jenny who, good job. Anyway, it's far enough away that I don't think we have to worry about it. So we have the U.S. Senate race, so we'll continue to hold both U.S. Senate seats. So we're excited about that. I just texted Ricky Hatch. He said that, and by the way, we have a tremendous clerk auditor's office. It runs extremely efficiently and very well. They have results ready to release, but they can't release them until all of the polling locations are closed. And they still have a couple that still have lines, and they are not able to release those until those lines have subsided and they've closed. They don't have to count them all at once, but they can't release what they have until they're closed. So just a few more minutes, and we will be able to make some announcements about some Weaver County races. Yes, sir. Okay, Big Sarge, by the way, has got a little chart up there about what he has nationally that's been called. Looks like we're trending a little bit red so far. Is that the House? That's the House. Okay. So you can kind of keep an eye on that, and we'll turn the speakers back up a little bit once we get done hearing from some of our candidates. But when the county results come in, they'll be over here on this screen over here, okay? So we'll be prepared for that. All right, Representative Schultz, would you like to go ahead and come on up? I think you were the other one that needed to leave, so thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Across county districts, right?
I do, yeah. So thank you, everybody. Gary, thank you, and I just, having to come up here and talk for just a minute after all the great and wonderful things that was said about Mayor Taylor and the great man that he was and his dedication and service to this community and state and nation as a whole is just a great example for all of us. And so I'll keep my remarks short because I know you guys don't want to listen to me the whole time. You want to get out and socialize as you should. Tonight's an exciting night, election night. What our nation is built on and our form of government, and so it's a big night for all of us, and I'm not going to be presumptuous and assume that I'm going to win, and so this is no victory speech because no numbers have came in, but appreciate the opportunity to stand up and just thank you all for the support that we as candidates receive from you, the hardworking people inside the Republican Party. It would not happen without your help and your support. A lot of times people just show up to advance to caucus meetings, to Linda, what's it, the big get together where we nominate the convention, the convention just goes with, but there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes for that, and then also to get the candidates elected. And so I just want to thank all of you that donate your precious time. We all have things that we can be doing, and it's a sacrifice to put forth the time to help good Republican candidates get elected, and so I just want to thank you. So I hope to be able to go to the state legislature and continue to represent District 12, but I view that a little broader than just District 12. I view that as all of northern Utah and the state as a whole. I absolutely, with every ounce of my heart and my body, love the state of Utah, and more importantly, I love northern Utah. And so I've spent my whole life here. I've never moved outside of northern Utah, nor do I ever plan to. It's a great community, and I just absolutely love the people. And it's been one of the honors of my life to have the opportunity to go back and serve with other great representatives in the legislature from northern Utah and the state as a whole, but more importantly to serve you, the people of our community and the state. And so I look forward, hopefully, keep my fingers crossed, to win tonight and go and continue some of the neat things that we're doing is northern Utah in the state legislature. We've got some great leaders right now from northern Utah and the state legislature. Senator Milner has done a great job with a few other people pulling the northern Utah legislators together to work on issues that are important to the northern end of the state. For so long, I think that northern Utah has been left out of whatever it may be, some of maybe the economic development things and road funding and other things that are important to our community, and we've been overshadowed. But with some great leaders like Senator Milner has pulled all of us together to work to make sure that we're not left behind at the state level. So I look forward to going and serving you and continuing that. And so, Carrie, thank you for the opportunity to come and speak tonight. Hopefully keep our fingers crossed. There's been some great and amazing things happen in our country, and so nationally, keep our fingers crossed. We know it's going to be close, and hope for some important wins tonight. So, Carrie, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Representative. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Representative Schultz has done a tremendous job in the short time that he's been in the legislature. He is moved quickly to earned the respect of his colleagues down in the State House. And I'm going to go on a limb and say not only is he going to handily win re-election tonight, but he's going to be in elected leadership in the House by the end of the week. And that's my solid prediction.
A lot of work to do.
I'm confident it's going to be great. All right, we still have nothing from Weber County, and so what we'll do is go to some of the unopposed candidates real quick who are here. I see Representative Froer. Are you prepared to come up and speak?
No, I want to wait till we see some results.
Get up here. All right.
Take some more of your 60.
What's that? I'm happy to have anyone else come up who wants to come before the results are announced. But I was picking on Gage because I think he's going to win. If you know what I mean. I'm hoping that he wins.
Might be close.
Might be close. So we do have a great opportunity, I think, to have Representative Froer, who has been serving in the state legislature over these last few months, or few years, several years, I should say, and now is unopposed in the commission race. So let's see. You want to come up, or do you want to wait? You want to wait a minute? Yeah, come on up. I think that's probably a good move. Representative Froer, thank you for coming, and congratulations on your big win as a Weber County Commissioner.
Thank you. I hope this is not premature, but I'm optimistic that the night will be successful for not only me, but for a number of the people in this room. I just also wanted to echo the thoughts that have been said, the prayers that have been said for Mayor Taylor. I became to know Brent, some work we started with the county about 6 months before he left. And I can tell you this, there is no one that I've dealt with in my 12 years of politics at the state capitol that I have more respect for and that I think is deserving of all our respect, because his prime focus was on the public service. His intention was to do anything and everything he could to show that the public deserved service. And that's what he was about. It wasn't about serving himself, but it wasn't about his ego. He was a humble, dedicated leader. I think he sets an example for all of us. I'm very sad that he could not continue his political career, because I could see him doing many great things, not only for the community, for the county, but the state. So I want to echo those thoughts. Let me just say a couple things. It's going to be hard to leave the State House after 12 years, but I think that the people that will be elected tonight, and we've got Kyle that's already spent some time down there, that Weber County will continue to be well represented, and that with, did Schultz leave? Where's Mike? Did he leave us already? Mike, so Mike came in a few years after I was there, but he quickly got involved with the groups down there, that the committees that made a difference in all our lives, and he was very effective and has been very effective in helping Weber County and a lot of our nonprofits. He helped me as he was appropriations co-chair, bringing a large amount of money to Weber County for the nonprofits, which is really where it should start. I think Mike and I feel very, very close on the concept that the more we can promote nonprofits and coming from the private sector rather than growth coming from government is always a good thing. In fact, it's not just a good thing, it's the best thing. So,
and especially those that teach a person how to fish and not just give them the fish, right?
That's right, yeah. And that's the main thing, is that we want to see these nonprofits take part and put some of their funds into it, what we call skin in the game, not just give them money and then hope that something good happens. But I just want to thank the people of Weber County that have supported me the last 12 years, given me the opportunity to achieve some things at the state that I felt were significant. It's a lot of hard work down there. Talk to any of the senators, representatives that have done it for a little while. I think they'll tell you the same thing, but there's nothing more satisfying than spending time at the state capitol and making sure that what we do down there, we bring back good policy and we bring back good decisions for what's good for Weber County and the state of Utah. Thanks, Kerry. Again, I appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll see some results soon, and I'm optimistic that the votes are going to come out our way. Thank you.
Oh, we have numbers. We have some numbers. All right. I can't see the numbers, but I know they're up. You want to read them to us? You can see a little better on that screen. Tell us what we got coming so far. Weber County Attorney, and a big shocker, I think we're winning that one.
Yeah, Chris Allred, we have 100%. Ricky Hatch, 6435 so far. Gage Froyer, 100%. Scott Jenkins, 59% over Neil Hansen at 40%. We have, for Sheriff, Ryan, you got 100%. Where you at?
Way to go.
Let's see, School Board District 2, Douglas Barker, so far. School Board District 4, Sonny Wilkinson at 70%. School Board 7 is Joyce Wilson at 58%. Dean L. Orborn was, didn't have any competition there, so he's 100%. School Board District 2, Jan Burrell at 59.93%. District 3, Bruce Jeridan, 100%. He did not have anybody there. School Board District 4, Paul Wedison at 57.13. Janice Christensen didn't have any competition. And the bond issue is at 52.75 ahead in the popular vote.
Do we have any legislative numbers yet?
Let me get there.
Go stay on the screen, the other screen, Gary.
Another screen. Some here. Yeah, but we should have some just counting.
Kyle Anderson, 65%.
Okay.
Mine's up 54-45.
Okay.
You just have to call up each house.
House district individually.
Yeah, each district.
So, bottom line, folks, looks like we're having a pretty good night in Weber County. In fact, I don't see any race at this point that is not being led by a Republican at this point. So, give yourselves a hand. Way to go. Waldrop at 50. Who else? What?
Cal Musselman at 54.14%.
Okay, 54 for Cal right now. Good job.
This is Kathy Darby at?
All right. While we're watching those continue to plug in, why don't we continue on with some of the races that we expect to continue on in a positive way? And I'd like to ask Senator Milner, who represents us in the Utah State Senate, to come up and address us.
Cal Anderson is at 65.41%. Kyle Anderson.
Thank you all very much. I'm so gratified to see all of you here tonight, fellow senators that I work with, House members that I've worked with. It's community Republicans that really are engaged and come together and work together because we believe in strong principles for this republic. And I appreciate so much all that you do to make our county great, to make our state even greater, and to make this country what it is today. So I just want to say that I have so much appreciated the opportunity to serve for the last 4 years, and clearly hope to be able to serve for another 4 years in the Utah Senate. I've been both humbled and honored. One of the greatest parts about this is learning that I have so many colleagues, both in the House and the Senate, who work really hard to do what's right for Utahns, who care about what happens to each and every one of you, and that we make sure that within the framework of the proper role of government, we're doing the right things and making the right decisions to support each and every one of you. I have so much appreciated many volunteers who come out during the campaign. Had the chance to walk with Kelly Miles, and the chance to walk with Lorraine Brown, and a chance to walk with Logan Wild and Morgan, because I actually have parts of Weber Davis and Morgan County. So I had a chance to walk with each of them, to get around to communities, to knock on doors, and to meet people and talk to them about issues. Really is a special part of the experience. And what's been even better is that there have been so many volunteers that have been willing to give up Saturday mornings and walk, sometimes even Saturday afternoons, and walk their neighborhoods with me and be part of that. And none of us could do it without the support of so many others. We don't get there by ourselves. We get there because you support us and you help us, and you bring out the vote. And thank you all very much for the role that you've played in my ability to serve, and each and every one of those who's around us today. So thank you.
And while you were up here, Senator, I don't know if you were paying attention, but we see you up with a 61% margin right now with the votes that are being counted. So congratulations, you're well on your way. Well done. Okay. Another one that is well on his way with a large margin, at least right now, I think will continue to grow, is our representative in District 7, Mr. Anderson, Kyle Anderson. If you'd come up and say a few words to us, and give us a victory lap.
I'd like to thank my grandsons for being here. I would just like to thank my family for all of their support. This was not something that's been on the radar for us. They've been incredibly supportive. And I'd like to, my mother and father-in-law are here. Not only did they give me the greatest blessing in my life, my sweet wife, but they have probably walked 1,000 miles through Pleasant View, knocking doors for us, and I'm so grateful for them. And for our little team, the Christiansons have helped us so much, and Weber County Republican Party, thank you so much for all your help, regardless of how this turns out. My life has been blessed, and I am blessed to live in the most beautiful place in the world. I am blessed to live in the most well-run state, in the greatest country in the world. And I'm just thankful for the opportunity to serve and give back. And as has been mentioned, particularly my district this morning, the loss of a hero. And I would like to express my love and support for his family, Major Taylor's family, who has given the ultimate sacrifice. And just encourage us all to move forward, embracing those things that he supported in his life. Love of country, love of community, service, and civility one with another. So I just want to move forward with those things in mind. And just want to thank each one of you, and may God bless our little corner of the world and this great state, and may God bless America. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative. Well said, well done. As you probably remember, this is the representative's first general election, but he approaches that as an incumbent, having won the special election and the primary election now at this point. And he has hit the ground running and done a tremendous job by all accounts, and is well received in the legislative body. And right now we have him with a 61-45 lead right now in his district. So I think that's going to continue to grow as well. Representative, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate you.
Thanks so much.
All right. We would also like now, if I think Cal's still there, isn't he? Cal, you want to come up now? I mean, are you waiting on some family?
No.
You're all here. She's the only one that matters. Come on up. You're gonna pull this one off. Let's talk. Let's give future Representative Musselman a big round of applause.
I don't know what kind of camera.
Well, folks, I appreciate the support. I truly do. It's been a fascinating adventure as I've gotten advice from Senator Milner and Kelly Miles and Mike Schultz and so many that have been willing to kind of guide me and give me counsel, and Jeremy and all those that have been so kind to me and generous with their time and with their experience. And I also want to express my deep gratitude to my wife and my kids and multiple individuals, Jacob and Levi, for your help during the campaign. You're really exceptional young men. I also want to express, I grew up in Monticello, Utah. It's a different world there, but I've called this place home for nearly 30 years. And I've lived in Ogden. I've lived right in the middle of the district in Ogden. I've lived right in the middle of the district in Roy. I've lived right in the middle of the district in West Haven. I know this district, and I'm proud to be part of it. I think I have a pretty good understanding of the needs of individuals in each city in this district. And I've grown to love Northern Utah. Love it deeply. My kids have all attended school through the Weber school system. 2 of them have gone on to Weber State. I'm proud of them for that. That's distracting, I get. Nevertheless, I want to just express my will and absolute dedication to the individuals in this district and doing whatever I can. And it's a willingness that I sometimes I can be a bulldog if I need to. I haven't done that, but I can be one, and I will be one for the people of this district if they need it. There's no doubt. But also I'm pretty good at building relationships, and I've done that. And I'm proud of the relationships I've built. I really am. But I can also, I don't want to trivialize this, but what's taking place. Sorry for that. Someone that's a public servant to risk their lives for your freedom and mine. Then, in the end, to pay the ultimate sacrifice. That should put it all in perspective. It does for me. I hope it does for you. Again, I don't want to trivialize what's happened here as far as my opportunity to serve my country, but also a continued opportunity to serve the people of this district. But what he did is exceptional. So, sorry for losing some emotion, but that's emotionally raw. It still is very raw. And I suppose it will continue to be so. Nevertheless, thank you from the bottom of my heart for your dedication as Republicans and, more importantly, as citizens. And I hope And I believe that we can bring civility back where maybe we've lost a little bit. And I am willing and ready to dedicate myself to do that. Thank you for your time.
I've consulted with the decision desk, and we're positive that he's going to win this race. It's 55-45 right now, but he's going to continue to pick up and gain ground as we go forward. I have to tell you real quick about the first time I met Cal. I was a young punk, 32-year-old nobody running for my first legislative seat. And I was knocking on doors. I knocked on this door in West Haven, and Cal answers the door. And he talked about being a bulldog. That day, he just for a second, he was a little bit, I think, just a tad bit annoyed because I was knocking on his door and he was trying to watch the State of the Union address. And I was so clueless to my, with my race that hadn't even put together that was the night the darn thing was on, right? And he looked at me and he said, "You're running for office?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, don't you think you ought to pay attention to what the president has to say?" And I said, "Sure." And so he invited me into his house, and we sat and watched the entire speech. And he was very kind and very generous. I realized shortly into the conversation that I knew his wife, that she was the daughter of a tremendous man that I had known for a long, long time. And from that moment on, I felt like I was a friend to their family, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I had to get to know them. It's funny how we meet in some interesting circumstances, and Cal has done a tremendous job in his business endeavors, and he's going to represent us really well down in the state legislature. He does have good relationships. He knows just when to have that little edge and to bring it on when he's doing the right thing and defending us. He's going to do a great job at that. And he's also a very kind and gentle man as well. So I'm super excited for you, Representative. Congratulations. We're excited to call you one of our newest representatives. Well done.
Gary, the only counties that got completed at this time are all 75 people have voted in Beaver and all 3 in Pioneer.
Not quite like that, Big Sarge.
Okay, 80 and 4.
Okay, all right. We have, I think, Kelly, are you willing to come up now? Okay, Kelly Miles, we'll have Kelly come up. Kelly, wow, what a story. He's done a tremendous job in just one term, right, Representative? Seems like he's been there 2 or 3 because he's hit the ground running and doing a good job for us. But we're excited for the opportunity to have Representative Miles come up and take the microphone.
So I'm like Cal. I don't know whether I'm not sure I treat this as a victory speech. We're running about the same 54-46 right now, and I'm not sure what percentage of the total votes that is, but it's better than 46-54, right, Cal? Anyway, I just want to take a few minutes and thank all those that I really had a race on my hands and still have, and I've really had to call in on a lot of work out of a lot of good hardworking volunteers, and not only family but close friends. And then in District 11, Elizabeth Carlin, she's a tireless worker, and Lael Gibby, and some of these that have been around forever. And when they tell you or give you some advice, you need to listen to those old timers. You don't mind if I call you an old timer, do you, Lael? We've got the same color hair, so. But I want to thank both you and Elizabeth for your help and support, for my family and friends. It's not an easy process. You get a taste of it, and I've really enjoyed the 2 years that I've spent down at the House. And when people ask what's the best part about it, it's the relationships, and it's the people that you get to work with. You know, Kyle and Cal and those of you that are going to be have a chance to go down there. And it's not just the fellow representatives and fellow senators like Senator Milner and others. It's the staff and the lobbyists and just everyone. And you've really got to take your hats off to those that are so passionate about a cause. And when you serve on some of those committees, and whether it's Health and Human Services or law enforcement or business, you get people that really have a cause and really are passionate about something that's important to them. And we're lucky that we have the type of process that allows for that input. And hopefully we as a state legislature, and I think we're doing pretty good as a state. I think with some of the national recognition that we've received, and you know, the jobs that have been created, and we're headed in the right direction, and I hope that we can continue heading in that direction. But I want you to know too, how much I love this county. And I cross district lines when they redistrict our race, or our District 11. Brad D, he was in that seat for about 14 years, and he decided that maybe we ought to take in some of Davis County with our district. And so about a fourth of my district, maybe almost a third, is in Davis County also. And they have a real strong Republican Party there too. And I won't get a chance to thank them at their event, but I'm grateful for their support, South Weaver and Lake. But I also want to say that the loss of Mayor Taylor is heavy on all of our minds. And he gave the ultimate sacrifice. And I thought, you know, one of his last posts where he talked about what a privilege it is to vote and to take part in the democratic process. We were better off to have known him and to know his passion and his service. And I appreciate those that have spoken before and suggested that we rally and support the Taylor family. He comes from a big family on the Taylor side. I'm not sure on his wife's side, but they're going to have a lot of family support. But we can do it as a community and friends and provide that support. But again, thank you to all those that are here, and I definitely want to thank Senator Milner too. I team up with her once in a while, and she's been a great friend and a great role model in this whole process. And so thanks again, and I hope things keep going in the right direction.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Well done. He has hit the ground running as well and doing a great job. We do have the great Ricky Hatch in the building now. He's been working hard at making sure these results come in, but he's entered the room. And so, Ricky, if you'd come up and address us on your, as we speak, like what, 70-30 victory so far? Something like that? Ricky, congratulations.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot for coming tonight. It's a fun party. We're knocking off the bunting. It's such a wild party. Okay, sorry, I'm going to be a little bit formal. I just barely wrote these comments while we were waiting to load our first round of results. So I apologize if they're a little bit formal. I want to first off thank my God for the blessings He's given me. I want to thank my family. My father-in-law passed away yesterday morning. And so my wife has been a real trooper having to deal with the family personal loss as well as this election. I want to thank the clerk auditor staff, the county staff, our great poll workers and election judges, and our amazing election staff team. I also want to thank the Weber County Party, and I want to thank my opponent, John Thompson. It's not easy nor is it cheap to run for county office, and it's always good to have a choice, and I appreciate him throwing his hat into the ring. He's a good guy. This year's election was the most secure election in history, and that's saying a lot. Because our elections have always been secure, but with the additional cooperation, training, information sharing, and coordination between local, state, and federal partners, the elections nationwide are becoming more and more secure. Now, that doesn't mean there's no risk. There will always be risk, and there will always be problems. But we are now much more capable to prevent, to detect, and to respond to issues. I have never felt more confident in our nation's elections infrastructure than I do today. Now, let me change my hat for a second over to the auditor side. I have never felt more confident in our county's financial position either. And it's not just because the county's collecting more revenue, but it's because there is a culture of responsible spending and the following of proper controls and procedures, and looking strategically into the future to make sure we're spending according to a long-term plan, not just a short-term knee-jerk reaction. It's always cheaper to fix something before it breaks than after, and our county has turned a corner and is taking that long-term focus. I am very encouraged by Commissioners Harvey and our two new commissioners, Commissioner Jenkins as well as Commissioner-elect Frohr, that I'm confident that they will spend your tax dollars wisely. And I'm appreciative to former commissioners who helped begin to turn this tide into a very good long-term focus. Now I'm changing my hat from county auditor to just plain human. When I was a kid, I loved to play with ants. And what I would do is get them all riled up and then they'd start fighting each other, and I thought it was awesome. As a 10-year-old, it was great fun. I didn't care which ant hill won. I just wanted to see them fight. And it took very little work for me, but it was very devastating for the ants. Well, guess what? Russia's doing the exact same thing with us. They're stirring up our American ant pile. They don't care who wins. They just want to sow discord. Recently, declassified criminal complaint filed by the United States shows this, and I can share it because it's been declassified. It's called Project Latka, and it's funded and run out of Russia, and they've spent $35 million since 2016 with the goal of, quote, to sow division and discord in the U.S. political system, including creating social and political polarization, undermining faith in democratic institutions, and influencing U.S. elections. The conspiracy has sought to conduct what it called internally information warfare against the U.S. through fictitious Facebook and Twitter accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers and a reach of almost 2 million citizens. They don't care who wins. They just want us to fight. And I've actually heard intelligent, conservative Republicans in Weber County cite stories and sources that can be traced back to this this Russian Project Latka. So how do we combat this? There are two ways, I think. First one is to be informed. We need to research every source and not just believe stories at face value, even when they confirm our initial opinions. And secondly, we need to be reasonable. Those who shout the loudest are not always those who are right. Moral authority comes not from sound, but from sound principles. And the principles of the State Republican Party platform are based on the sound principles that our founders established. So let's confidently and courteously reason with our political opponents without belittling or insulting. It's the higher road, and it keeps us from being ants stirred up by someone else. And it will keep our elections and our inspired republic safe from enemies, both foreign and domestic. So thank you so much for all of your support, and I'm really looking forward to 4 more years. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ricky. Well done. Ricky is very well respected throughout the state with his assignments as a liaison for clerk auditors all across the state, and nationally recognized as well. Does a tremendous job with all that he does, and it looks like he's on his way to a big win, so we're excited about that. Congratulations. I also wanted to mention that I talked with Weber County Attorney Chris Allred, who is barely winning with 100% of the vote right now. He was here early on as we started and was called away on a county-related issue where he was needed with an employee issue that was kind of a crisis. So he wanted to let you know that he has not deserted us, but he's doing business. And sometimes when business comes, that's when you do business, right? Whether you like it or not. Okay. Hey, we've got a barn burner in District 8. Boy, that one's going to be tight, it looks like. It's pretty close. It's within just a few votes right now with the votes that are counted. But we have faith that Steve Waldrop will be able to pull that one out. He's not with us yet. I'm hoping that he makes it. Let's see. Looks to me like we've got a barn burner as well in House 10. Those are the two that are going to be close, it looks like, at least right now. I haven't seen to this point Commissioner-elect, or Commissioner Jenkins, I should say, not Commissioner-elect, because he's currently seated and working, doing a great job for us. But if he comes, we'll invite him up. Mr. Sheriff, are you at a point you can go now? Okay. Let's welcome to the podium our newly elected with 100% of the vote Weber County Sheriff, Mr. Ryan Arvin. Welcome.
Thank you for having the opportunity to speak before you this evening. I've listened to a lot of the talks that have been shared this evening, and one has to reflect at what point and what it took to get to this point. There's a lot of people that I want to thank, and I'm just going to thank just a few of them. And one of them, or a couple of them especially, is Phil Swanson. I mean, this guy sure knows how to lead someone along and show them the right way. Thank you, Phil. The others, I want to thank my Father in heaven and Jesus Christ. They're the best examples to me in my life, and I want to thank my family as well. They were the kingpins, if you will, or the brickwork, the foundation that helped me get going in this race. About a year ago, I had a couple of people approach me and ask me to consider to run for sheriff. And at the time, it wasn't real comfortable for me to do that. I didn't know Terry very well at all, and I just didn't want to run against somebody for the mere fact of just to beat somebody in a position. But once that decision was made to do that, I made a couple of commitments that the sheriff's office and its responsibilities and duties will not be political. We will not see those people that we work with as Republicans, Democrats, independents, blacks, whites, or any other gender. We treat them equally and fairly. Over about 200 years ago, the Constitution was created and everyone is afforded proper rights. And it is our responsibility to ensure that every single person that we come and work with is guaranteed those rights. About 2 years ago, when I became chief, we wanted to do something different and apply it directly with the Constitution. And the thing is we did is we wanted to change the mentality of law enforcement. And there's one thing that I want you guys to remember that I'm going to say, I want you to remember this tonight. There's two parts of law enforcement that I'm seeing. There's the warrior and there's the guardian. The warrior is a proper tool to have and to use when you need it, when it's proper. When you go on a SWAT call or you have a hostile or adversarial situation. The bigger part that I see is we're guardians. We should guard and protect the victims, the suspects, the family, the children, the mothers, the fathers, the grandparents, and everybody. So what a guardian does is that we ensure that we protect not only their constitutional rights, but more importantly, we will protect your Second Amendment rights, your rights to bear arms, and we will also protect your property rights. Those are very key things. When someone's on the campaign trail, you're usually fed with a lot of negative stuff. And I'm going to tell you that I was fed a lot of negative stuff about the sheriff's office. In the last couple of months, that Terry Thompson has been very gracious. He's been an honorable and genuine, awesome person to let me come in and do some things early. And a lot of these things that I was fed on the campaign were simply not true. I can't think of a better office of law enforcement to work with than Weber County. They're the best. And we're going to continue to make ourselves better and serve you guys with all the due respect and proper words that's equated to every one of you. I'm so thankful for the support that I've received in my campaign very early on from Kerry Gibson and Gage Frohr and again Phil Swanson and again my family. They're wonderful. Thank you, and we look forward as Sheriff's Office to serve you with the best service available out there. Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Mr. Sheriff. That one's going to be a landslide, I'm afraid. Well done, well done. We're excited for you. Okay, we have, I just saw Commissioner Jenkins walk in, but I don't know where he went. Right over here. Huh? You walked in that door, now you're standing over here. Commissioner.
I want to see the.
Oh, you want to see what you are first? You want to tell Senator or Commissioner Jenkins where he stands right now? I know he's ahead.
59.52 to 40.48.
59 to 40. All right. Got it. 59 to 40. Commissioner, why don't you come up and address us real quick with your 60% win? Congratulations.
Well, they're calling that pretty soon, aren't they? It still scares me just a little. I want to see 85-90% in before I say too much there. But, you know, it's good to have Republican wins. And I appreciate all of you and the efforts you put in. You know, the Democrats, they had some really poor candidates this year. And when you see the number of votes they got, I just have to shake my head and think about it. You know, if they put up some really good candidates, we might be in trouble. So, you know, we can't sit on our laurels here. This is a big deal. And we just got to keep pushing all the time. Anyway, yeah, let's hope that, you know, we got a little ways yet to go, but it's good, it's good. But we appreciate all the support that you guys give. Thank you.
Thank you. So, the commissioner kind of insinuated that maybe I called his race a little too early, but I guarantee I'll put my record up against NBC any day. We're gonna. Everyone I've called tonight is gonna work. I promise. We're doing really good so far. We do have some national results that I want to make you aware of real quick. We're having a hard time getting Fox News, and so we can't see a lot of national stuff because on Channel 2 we're getting a lot of local stuff, and we kind of know how some of the local stuff's working. But right now, Congressman Bishop is ahead with 65.58% against two opponents, one from the United Utah Party and the Democratic candidate as well. So he's doing well. Representative Chris Stewart is up with 3 people in the race. He's ahead fairly handily at 48.94%. So he's going to be above 50, it looks like, with 3 people in the race. Let's give him a hand. We're excited about that. Representative Curtis is ahead with nearly 63% of the vote in a 2-person race. So we're excited about that as well. Let's give him a hand. I missed that. Okay, the one that we're a little concerned about right now, Mia Love is down with currently 46% of the vote. We still have quite a few precincts to come in. Those are largely Salt Lake County precincts that have been counted so far. And so we do have some Utah County precincts and some rural precincts that will come in, and I think make that a very close race, but it's going to be a little bit of a tight one. All right, I am not aware of any other candidates in the room that are here now that haven't had an opportunity to speak, and so with that, we're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to continue to watch the screen. And we'll be back if there's any developments that you need to know about. In the meantime, socialize, enjoy yourself, have a sandwich. Hold on. Good point. We do have a good one among us who is running in a nonpartisan race, and her husband just threw her under the bus. Janice Christensen, will you come up and just say something real quick as a school board candidate? Where'd she go? There she is. She's outside. She's coming. And then as soon as she's done, we'll just mingle, and we'll be back with any breaking news updates. Okay? Sorry, Janice. I can't tell Senator no.
I'm very, very happy to be here tonight with the remarkable people that you are. I have appreciated what Linda has done at the party level and what each one of us can do as volunteers. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to serve on the Weber School Board. I've been there, this will be my second term. Remarkable good people who are very, very concerned about the children of Weber District, Weber County, and I'm grateful to be associated with them, and I'm grateful to be here with you and to be supporting strongly Republican principles. Thank you so much.
And brought it back into Republican hands. We owe him a debt of gratitude. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Can you sing us a song for farewell there? Sing us a song here.
Okay.
All right, we're going to announce some of the statewide numbers on the constitutional amendments and initiatives for those that are interested, and then we have a presentation. Bill Olson will come up and present some fundraising to Cottages of Hope. Bill, can you hear me? Bill Olson, you're next, okay? You ready? On Constitutional Amendment A, which is the tax exemption for active duty military, that is passing right now by a percentage of 78.55%. So that's carrying handily. Constitutional Amendment B, which is the state and local property tax exemption if you lease to a government entity, that is going down right now by 63%. Or excuse me, down against, it's against by 73%, 73%. Down by 73%. Constitutional Amendment C, which allows the legislature to call themselves into special session with a 2/3 vote, is passing right now with a 63% margin, so that's going well. Question 1, the gas tax increase right now is going down by a vote of 65%.
What about the children?
Prop 2, the medical cannabis legislation, is passing narrowly at 54% right now, the numbers that are coming in. Prop 3, Medicaid expansion. This one's baffling me just a little bit, but that is passing right now by a 55% majority. So hopefully we can get some numbers to turn that one around a little bit. Senator Christensen could probably go on and on about that one with his experience with Health and Human Services. And last but not least, the redistricting, the Independent Redistricting Commission. Wait a second, do those words even go together? Independent Redistricting Commission? Sorry, whatever. Right now it's passing narrowly with a 51% margin. So we'll see how that one turns out. All right, let's have Bill come up and make a presentation to Cottages of Hope.
Thanks, Kerry. I don't want to offend anybody with my hat, so I'll take it off. Thank you very much. The Cottages of Hope was one of our designated charities this year at Weber County in our fundraiser and our Lincoln Day dinner. And we conducted a silent auction to raise money for the party as well as a couple of designated charities. And we have a check, hopefully for tonight, Jeremy. And I wanted to introduce Jeremy Bathello with Cottages of Hope and tell you a little bit about what they do. But I can tell you, Jeremy, right now, Stu, our treasurer, is in traffic with elections in Roy, and it looks like we're going to get you your check tomorrow, not tonight. But Jeremy, thank you. It's a pleasure working with you and your charity. Would you tell us a little bit about it and let us know?
So Cottages of Hope, we've been around for 11 years, and it's hard to believe that, but we're a unique nonprofit organization. Our focus is on helping individuals in the community become financially stable. So everything we do really works on helping the individual learn what it's going to take to increase their household income and better manage what resources they have. We've had some incredible successes over the years. We've had a lot of support from the local community. Gage Frohr has been a big champion of ours for years. And right now we're working on a project that really helps transition a lot of ex-offenders coming out of incarceration, impacting recidivism, helping these individuals become more stable and enter the community, re-enter the citizens in the community so that they are now contributors rather than recipients of resourcing. And we've seen some incredible impacts on that so far. But again, our primary concern is we believe in the human capacity and the human capital and the ability of the individual to be able to support themselves and their families to where they are no longer being recipients here in the community, but they are giving back and impacting the economy as well as just making us more of a stable community. So we appreciate all your support. We love being members here. We're incubated here in Weber County, and we hope to see the services we do expand beyond that. So we appreciate that.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate what you're doing for our community as well. Yep, thank you very much. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. So that being said, now let's see, Gage, would you mind coming up and talking for about a half hour? Did you hear the one about? No, I was just, Gage, would you like to come and tell us a joke? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, Carrie's got the top of the mark.
Thank you, sir. I just think it's appropriate for us to recognize the tremendous work that Cottages of Hope does in our community. And Jeremy, we want to tell you, there's certain things that only a true community nonprofit can do. You do a tremendous job. You deserve our respect. Thank you so much. Let's give them a hand. That's one of the reasons why the party chose to honor them and to do some fundraising for them. So, okay, we're just waiting on, I just wanted to make one more comment, and then I'm going to close down unless we see Mr. Waldrop walk in or Mrs. Brown. Those are the two legislative races that haven't spoke to us yet. They're both very tight. They're going to be close. But I just wanted to say a couple of things, and that is, first of all, if Elizabeth is still here, is Elizabeth Carlin still here? She is. She's right here. I want to tell, on behalf of the Weber County Republican Party, I would just like to tell her thank you. I know that in these tight districts, she put together a really impressive volunteer effort to go do some canvassing over the last few days, and sometimes that makes all the difference. These candidates are very grateful. Elizabeth, thank you for doing that and for making that tremendous effort. And the precinct chairs, good job. And last but not least, we want to thank Lori Brinkerhoff and the Weber County Republican Women for their support with canvassing as well. So it's a team effort. Everybody does their part. We want to tell them all thank you. We'll get back to the national news here for a minute, and then we'll wait to see if any of the other candidates can make it. Thank you.
Good.